So the event is in 2 days. We got some time to talk about fleets, and I'm going to do that right now. So we're going to use a template one all the way back here, I guess. Since we don't have the ship right now, I'm going to use a placeholder. Use the base Amagi for this. Now, what can we expect from this ship so far? Well, I'll tell you as of right now, that's the third IJN carrier. That's ultra rare. So you guessed it, we can run the basic composition or whatever. So this is a very interesting carrier because she has a barrage, like a battleship, but as a carrier. So she has two waves of damage. One being the initial like bombs and rockets or whatever you're using. And then she has her barrage damage as well too. So she's probably packing a lot of damage. Assuming she has the basic like 15% aviation increase, and then she nano gets buffed. She's buffing Amagi, and then Hakuryu or whatever. She could benefit from going first or last depending on how her kit goes. Now, if you're doing content that's like multi-target or whatever, then having Amagi go first is very good because she basically clears all the scrap that's on the field for your other carriers to get a clean hit on with their homing rockets or whatever. But if it's a single target, then that doesn't really matter too much. What you can do is probably have her go last, assuming she is packing a lot of damage, and then you probably just like face roll everything. Her Vanguard setup is probably gonna be something really basic. You can't go wrong with the Kazugumo here, so that's probably there as well. If you want to do Helena, that's okay too. A tank, I'm not sure what we're gonna run here. There's a lot of options. You can run like pure IGen if you want to. But I think for a solid tank for what you want to do here, I'd probably run with something like, if we're doing like pure DPS, you can do like Laffy 2 and then Sirius or whatever. Pure DPS is a really fine composition for carriers because most of the time, most fights you just die in like 30 seconds. So you just get two airstrikes out, and that basically kills the boss or whatever. So you can probably do something like that. Otherwise, though, I think a lot of people want to play it safe and run a tank. So let's say you can use E-Girl here. That can work as well too, and you'd be good to go. So the thing about this setup is that it doesn't get boosted by Plymouth, so you don't have to bring her here. But she's still nice to have because she packs a lot of damage. And because you're running three carriers, you're susceptible to suicide bombers. So you gotta be really careful if like a boss or whatever, or any kind of like content has suicide bombers. That's something to be very, very careful about. But one thing you're dropping a lot out of this is that if you guys don't already know, Implacable and like Sirius, these two ships are very good because they lower the evasion essentially for like light armor targets and medium armor targets, like something like that. So having them together just makes it so your ships are more accurate for DPS output, which is very, very good. So even though Amagi may do more damage overall for this whole fleet, you're gonna miss out on some damage because Implacable has that nice freeze, and she lowers the ship's evasion. So that's very, very good and more accurate for DPS output. But I think if you want to reset a lot, this setup probably does more damage overall. You just can't go wrong with it. Now, I'm assuming because she is an IJN carrier, she's going to have double torpedo bomber slot. And honestly, I do think they're going to be the unstoppable setup for the heavy armor department. Medium armor and light armor probably still goes to the USS setup because it's just so damn powerful having Kearsarge and Yorktown 2 in the same composition. But heavy armor, probably uncontested. IJN just has double torpedo bomber slots, and they just do so much damage with this. It's disgusting. So, luckily for us, I think Hermit is this month's reset for Arbiters, and we have Nagato Meta being level 15 very soon. And probably the EX that's upcoming is also probably heavy armor or like medium armor. So, a lot of ways to try out Amagi 2 this month for those that want to see how good she really performs. But I think for the most part though, she is going to fit in heavy armor setup, mainly because that's what IJN got relegated to. Light armor is stolen by USS, and even medium armor is stolen by USS these days. So probably gonna be that. If she does run like something crazy though, like she has slow reload or whatever, what I'm thinking is you kick out Hakuryu and you swap her out with Nagato to get more reload. I know this sounds very weird because Nagato does 0 damage, but assuming Amagi 2 does a lot of damage, she needs Shinano to buff her, and Shinano has a really nice debuff as well too, so having these two is very, very nice. I don't want to bench Hakuryu, honestly. I want to run something like this, but assuming worst case scenario, and you really need that reload from Amagi 2, then you probably something like this. But regardless though, if the content requires like 4 airstrikes for bossing, you gotta kick one of these out for Nagato, and it's probably gonna be Hakuryu. So yeah. Anyways, that's what I think the fleet's comp is gonna be. Kit wise, she has a barrage. I'm expecting some kind of like standard like self buff, maybe a little bit buffing for IJN's fleets or whatever. Maybe even a debuff as well too, because if I recall correctly, Amagi the battle cruiser also has a debuff, so it's probably something like that in that department. I could be wrong, but she does have a nice offense debuff for enemies, so maybe something like that. And of course her crazy barrage that she has as well too, it's gonna be a lot of damage. So that's what I'm expecting. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here, and I'll see you guys next